If you were to ask me what a successful outcome of the Florida workers' compensation case I've handled looks like, the answer would vary. I'm Brian Tadros, Law Office of Brian D. Tadros, making workers' comp work for you. I handle nothing but Florida workers' compensation cases. You can find me online at bdtlawfirm.com. The first example I'd give you is just the personal connection that I have with my clients and making sure that they have gotten candid advice and guidance, and that I don't push myself on my clients, but yet I have cases where I've given a consult and 6 months, even up to a year later, they have come back to me and hired me because something came up in their case and they needed me. They didn't need me before, they appreciated the advice that they got. And for me, that alone is a huge success factor that I can impart on clients, the feeling that there is somebody in their corner that they can rely on when they have a problem in their case, and they know that I'm available when they reach out to me. Another example of a successful outcome for a Florida workers' compensation case I've handled are those cases where I have an injured worker that isn't being paid at the correct rate. An outlier that I'll always remember because it was just so egregious. I had a client who was being paid $400 less, roughly, per week for over a year before she got me involved in her case. We got involved, we filed the necessary litigation, and ultimately the insurance company for the workers' comp insurance carrier, they decided that we were right. And they went ahead and they paid her the back due wages that they owed her together with what we call penalties and interest. And that check alone was roughly $24,000, $25,000. And that wasn't a settlement. That was just money that she was owed. We then continued to handle the case, and when they did things that they weren't supposed to do, we filed the necessary litigation and made sure that they did what they were supposed to do, and in the end, the case settled. So not only did she get a successful outcome, if you will, with regard to a settlement, but along the way, there were a large amount of money benefits that she was not receiving that she was entitled to. And it took an attorney being involved in the case, knowing how to do the appropriate analysis, pointing that out and taking a stand with the Florida workers' comp insurance company to accomplish that. And that it will always be a success story in my book. Yet another example of what I would consider a successful outcome for cases that we've handled are those cases where we might have an injured worker that reaches out to us and they've provided proper notice to the employer that they were injured, but for whatever reason, the employer never notified their workers' compensation insurance company. We get involved in those cases. We reach out to the Florida workers' compensation insurance company and we report the accident ourselves and we let them know the employer never reported it. We get that done, and case in point that I can recall, it was a gentleman who did report his accident to the employer. He had multiple injuries, different parts of his body. Not only did we get the claim reported, we then got him the medical treatment he was entitled to, which started out at a walk-in clinic, as often is the case in a Florida workers' compensation case. But that led to him seeing 2 different orthopedists for the different injuries that he had. He got that treatment. He got paid lost wages while he was receiving that treatment based on the opinions of those doctors. And then at the end of the treatment, we were able to settle the case for him. Another example of a situation that I've been involved in that I would consider to be a successful outcome for a Florida workers' compensation case would involve settling a case perhaps sooner than initially someone else might have thought should be done. Sometimes there are reasons beyond the actual facts of a Florida workers' compensation case that means that settlement is in the best interest of the injured worker sooner than later. And that could be a variety of things. It could be some type of personal family issue that they're dealing with and they're under financial stress, and they just, as much as they want that medical treatment, they really need to just move on and they want to settle their case. And so regular communication with the client to make sure that they understand those things so they can make the best decision for them. Settlement is always the choice of the injured worker. My role is to make sure that they have the proper guidance. It's something we strive for. We want to guide them through the process, communicate clearly with them. I often tell people I can't necessarily guarantee an outcome of a case, and I never will do that, but I can guarantee that I will handle each case with respect and integrity, and I will communicate effectively and frequently with my clients to make sure that they understand what they're dealing with. And when they communicate to me that for whatever reason, it's not my place to say whether it's a valid reason or not, that they would prefer to settle their case sooner than later, then we'll head in that direction. But I'm also not a yes man. So if somebody tells me they want to do that and I don't think it's in their best interest, I'm going to tell them that. But we're going to have a conversation about it. I'm here to guide you, not make that decision for you. So we'll walk through that fire together. And in the end, if we accomplish that for somebody, and there's many a times we've done that, then that's a success for me. We have helped somebody through a difficult part of their life. It may not be the exact outcome that they wanted, but it was the best outcome for them per their decision, and they can move on with their life and have some closure.